Welcome to Game Day Sports Radio for the premiere of Magic 8 Ball Pick Me. I'm joined by two of our college football experts who are actually in college. That's the premise of the show. I'm joined by college athlete, Division I athlete, JT Brownlee from the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. He's a track and cross country Division I scholarship athlete out there. And also, as the midterms approaches, he's on the dean's list with all A's and B's out there. How you doing, JT?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. And also, we're joined by senior George Hill from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where I think folks are probably breathing just a little bit easier after that second half of the Alabama game down there when Jalen Milroe came out of the locker room, made some key halftime adjustments, and pushed Alabama past Ole Miss on Saturday. What'd you think about that, George?
It was a good game. We should have scored a lot more points. I mean, we were on the 1 yard line and we decided to go in shotgun. So that kind of shocked me. But other than that, yes, we were definitely breathing a lot easier now that we got past Lane Kiffin and his Ole Miss squad.
So the premise behind what we're doing here is we've got two college students, and they're going to pick 5 games against the ultimate college football guru of them all, the Magic 8 Ball. They try to beat him every week. If you want to submit some picks, go ahead and send in your little tape to a 2 to 3 minute version of your picks to our Instagram page in the link below, and we'll see if we can't get you on here with us. 5 games, both straight up and against the spread, and we'll see how they do. And their goal is to not only beat each other, but beat the 8 Ball. We're going to go ahead and start out down, or actually up in the Kentucky Bluegrass. Florida is traveling up to the Bluegrass, Kentucky. Kentucky's the favorite there, -1.5. George, Florida shocked some people 2 weeks ago by taking down Tennessee. Who do you like, Florida or Kentucky?
You know, from my standpoint, I think Florida's already played a really tough game this season against Tennessee, and they ultimately won the game. I just don't know if Kentucky has that firepower to, beat Florida. I know it's at home. But for me, I'm going to take Florida straight up money line, and I'm going to take their spread. I mean, I think their money line's at +100. I think that's a great bet, great odds, especially for that Florida team. And, yeah, I mean, I think they're going to give Kentucky a run for their money for sure.
All right, JT, who do you like, Florida or Kentucky?
I'm going to have to disagree on this one. I think Kentucky's going to win it at home. Kentucky's been playing great football. They have one of the best defenses in the SEC right now, which is kind of unbelievable. They're making it work. Kentucky has not allowed anyone to hit 100 yards on the ground. So Florida's going to have to play the ball through the air a lot. So I think Kentucky wins outright, and they will cover the spread.
All right. Magic 8 Ball, what do you think? Well, the Magic 8 Ball likes your picks there, JT. Likes Kentucky and likes Kentucky against the spread. And he likes the Magic 8 Ball's always been partial to defense since he's been picking on our other show as well. So Magic 8 Ball likes Kentucky. So there you go. JT, we're going to kick it right to you. Texas A&M, Arkansas. You know, Arkansas is kind of seemed to be that team that you see in the movies where the kid teases the dog and the dog chases him all the way home through the countryside, and the kid just makes it in the door and the dog's just running back and forth wagging his tail in front of the front porch because Arkansas, they chased BYU, they chased LSU, they just don't seem to have enough to get it done. Texas A&M's a favorite here at Arkansas, -6. Does Arkansas have enough to get over the hump this week?
It's really tough. Texas A&M's kind of coming in with a struggle too. They just lost their quarterback, so Max Johnson is going to step in this week, so he's going to have to step up big. The Razorback defense has allowed 213 passing yards per game, so hopefully that'll kind of give them a little bit of a cushion coming in this week. Once you said hard game against LSU last week, and I think they're still going to be kind of having some problems with that loss. So I got Texas A&M winning all out and covering the spread.
Wow, JT likes Texas A&M both ways. Is he right, George?
I would have to agree with him on this one. I mean, I know Max Johnson does have some playing experience in the SEC from last year. And, I mean, I just don't think Arkansas has that team that they, had last year. So I'm definitely taking A&M -6, and I wouldn't touch their money line. The odds for that are way too high for me. So if I had to choose, I would go the under 54 since his backup quarterback, Arkansas, is not too hot. So yeah, those are my 2 picks. A&M to cover the 6, and I'm going to take the under 54. I just
Okay.
don't think a lot of points will be scored. I mean, backup quarterback, first start in a while. I think he's going to struggle a little bit in the passing game, just with reads and coverages. And so, yeah, I think A&M still going to pull it off, but it's going to be a close one.
Magic 8 Ball, who do you like? He likes Texas A&M to win it straight up, but he does think it's going to be closer. He thinks Arkansas is going to cover the 6, so he's got a split. He's got a split verdict here. So, all right, George. This one shocked me a little bit, I'm going to admit, because Ole Miss fell a little flat in the second half. I thought Jackson Dart, the way he started off, was going to actually make it a little bit more of a game, and he kind of seemed to fizzle out some drives and make some mistakes. And I was a little surprised to see the Ole Miss try to run it as much as they did. But game being at home, I think maybe that's probably what gets it going. I think LSU scored on their last 6 drives in that game against Arkansas, but LSU travels to Oxford as a 2.5-point favorite in Oxford. So who do you like? LSU minus 2.5 at Ole Miss.
This is one of those games that's a toss-up for me. I mean, Ole Miss played exceptionally. They did play well in Bryant-Denny. I will give them that. And like you said, they fell flat in the second half. I think if Ole Miss can cut out the sacks, cut out the miscues, some of the bad play calling that they had in the second half, I think Ole Miss ultimately walks away with the win. So I'm taking Ole Miss money line, and I'm going to take Ole Miss spread. I just don't think LSU has quite the team yet. They haven't quite figured it out. And traveling into Mississippi is going to be tough for them. I know that crowd's going to be rowdy, just like they were in Tuscaloosa. So I think Ole Miss is going to give them a run for their money.
I'm going to disagree. Crowd can be rowdy, but if you can't convert on third down, that's going to lose you football games. Ole Miss has a terrible third down offense. It's just not going to work. Jaden Daniels has been doing great this year. I got LSU covering the spread and winning all out.
Let's see what the 8 Ball thinks. 8 Ball, who do you like? Likes Ole Miss. And if he likes Ole Miss to win it, he likes Ole Miss to cover the spread. So he likes the points. So, all right, George, I'm going to come back to you on this one. Normally we flip-flop back and forth, but you have been a Riley Leonard guy all year long. I mean, you were talking about him before the season even started. You saw something in him, and he just seems to getting better and better. Not only is he doing it with the arm, but he's doing it with the legs and seems to know when to get out of that pocket. But first, I want to hear, how is nobody, or am I just not hearing it, talking about only 10 men on the field on defense, 2 plays in a row? Nobody is talking about that, or am I missing it?
I mean, you're not missing it. I mean, as someone who betted on Notre Dame last week to beat Ohio State, for them to be in the position they were, I mean, come on, that situational football, you got to understand, you got to have 11 men on the field.
Out of a timeout,
Especially-
too. Coming out of a timeout.
Yeah.
A timeout you shouldn't have called, because you're calling a timeout, giving your opponent in that position time to regroup and get their personnel on the field. I mean, how does that happen?
I mean, I don't know. I want to say it's just heat of the moment and the guy didn't know his job. But I mean, at the same time, you got to look at it like this is a huge game. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw a stat that it averaged 10.6 million views during the game. And one of the highest college football rated games like ever. And I mean, you just got to know, you got to do your job, go out there and play. And for 2 plays, they had 10 men out there on the field for 2, not just 1, but 2. So I mean, that's just bad coaching. And also on that player, he's got to step up and know, like, maybe if I was on that field, guess what? I could have made the game-winning play to stop Ohio State from winning. So
You
that's
solely put
bad
that on the head
football.
coach, though, too, because, I mean, you've got guys in the box that's got to see it. I mean, somebody's missing.
You got to have someone up there accounting. I know every football team in America has someone out there counting that amount of players that are on the field. So I would definitely pin that on the coaches.
And then the
Not
last
doing
thing
a
is,
good job.
how do you call 2 timeouts on 4th downs critical? I mean, they are scrambling, and then, they got a 4th and long, and you call a timeout, and you let them get their personnel, you let them get the right play in there on a 4th and long, and they convert. And then again, I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
I think I know which way you're going to go here, but I'm gonna ask you anyways. Notre Dame travels to Duke. I'm a little surprised after last week that this spread is Notre Dame favored by 5.5. I think this is going to be a great game. I think this could be the game of the day, to be honest with you, the way Duke's playing. I think Duke's probably feeling a little disrespected with this line. But do you like Notre Dame at minus 5.5, or do you think Duke gets it done and stays undefeated in the ACC?
Well, if we go back a few weeks ago to the Duke Clemson game that we talked about, I mean, that game just had Duke written all over it. Duke is going to win the football game. Riley Leonard is an athlete. He can play. And I mean, Notre Dame, Clemson, if they were to play, it'd be a great game. But, I mean, I think Duke's going to come in there with grit in their teeth and ready to play some football. I'm going to take Duke money line on this one just because it's really good odds and they're at home. And, I mean, look how they played against Clemson. They played probably the best football game they could have probably played and walked away with a dub. So I'm going to take Duke money line, and then I'm going to have to take Notre Dame spread. Just it's Notre Dame. Yeah, I'm taking Duke money line.
Okay,
It's
I
just
got you.
good odds, good odds.
Okay,
And then if I were to throw money on Notre Dame, definitely minus 5.5 because it could very well turn around for Notre Dame. They just
okay.
come off a tough loss, and obviously they're going to be kind of hot-headed about that. So I think this game, I'm surprised by the line. I really am. That really shocked me.
Okay, so do you like Duke to win by 5.5 or more, JT, or do you think no, you like Duke to win? What do you like here?
I completely agree with George. I think this game is the definition of defense wins football games. Notre Dame has the 18th ranked scoring offense versus Duke, who's the fourth ranked scoring defense. So Duke hasn't allowed more than 14 points to any opponent. They're gonna home territory. I think that crowd's gonna be rocking. I'm up in Greensboro. I got a feeling I'm gonna feel it. It's gonna be a great game. But I think Duke wins. It's going to be close. I don't think Duke is going to be able to cover the spread, but I got Duke winning though.
So you think Duke wins? So if Duke wins outright, all right. So the 8 Ball though likes JT's pick. He likes Duke both ways. He likes Duke to win outright. And I think this game is a little bit of a trap because I think South Carolina at Tennessee. Tennessee's favored by 12.5 points, and I think South Carolina though has been playing better. They started off playing well against um, uh, uh, Georgia 2 weeks ago, and again they played well last week. Again, won a late one against Mississippi State in a shootout, but Spencer Rattler's playing well. Tennessee lost to Florida, but then came back and won last week. But I just think the spread is not. I think it's a little too wide for how these teams are playing. JT, who do you like in this one?
I like Tennessee on this one. I would agree. Spencer Rattler has been playing pretty well, but it's going to come down to South Carolina's defense. They are the 129th ranked pass defense in the country. That's not too hot. Joe Milton needs to play great. I think Tennessee's going to win outright, and I think they will cover the spread.
Wow. JT's got them both ways. George?
I have to agree with JT on this one. South Carolina is a solid football team. They are, with the exception of their pass defense. That's piss poor. But I agree. I think the line's a little too high considering both of these teams. Tennessee's not what they were last year by any means. But it's going to be a high scoring ball game. Yeah, I'm going to have to take Tennessee both ways. I know the line's a little high, but I think if Tennessee gets their stuff done and the job done, they'll definitely cover that 12.5. South Carolina's defense, Shane Beamer's bringing that Big 12 defense over to the SEC, and that just does not work out. As you've seen, people in the SEC can score, and they can score a lot of points. So I don't see South Carolina scoring many. They might, but I think Tennessee is going to step up at home, especially 6:30 game. I think that stadium's going to be rocking, and they're going to win by big. So I'm taking Tennessee both ways for sure.
8 Ball, what you think? Well, the 8 Ball says that you guys are right on Tennessee winning, but they said he will take your money on the spread. He thinks South Carolina will cover. So okay, and then the one more pick, as we always do, is Notre Dame Duke? Is it worth the dough, or is it a no-show as far as worth watching? Is it going to live up to the hype, or is it worth the dough, or should we no-show?
I think it's worth the dough. Look at the Clemson game. They beat Clemson at home. They're right back in the same situation. History repeats itself, and I don't know. I think I think it's gonna be a damn good game. I really do, and I think it's definitely worth the dough.
All I gotta say is, if I had a ticket, I know where I'd be sitting.
Yep.
There you go.
I mean, it's two NFL quarterbacks going head to head. I mean, Sam Hartman is an elite quarterback, seasoned quarterback. Riley Leonard just getting started, athlete, freak of an athlete, can use his legs, can run. He ran all over Clemson, and I mean, it's going to be a really, really good ball game for sure.
Well, JT, since you didn't do any wardrobe changes this week, I got to ask the most important question because I'm sure you've got your mom watching. What you got in the snack rack behind you this week?
Let's see. This week we got Cheez-Its, Z-Bars, Pringles, popcorn, and I think those are granola bars that we're living off of right now.
You got to make sure your mom and your family know you're eating healthy and eating right. When you made the wardrobe change last week, we got the snack rack in full view. So, all right, gentlemen. Well, we will get your picks out, and fans out there, if you want to try to join us on 8-Ball Pick Me, please. Magic 8-Ball Pick Me. Please send your picks into a quick video of yourself, and we will get a fourth contestant on here if you think you've got what it takes to take these two fine college football experts and the ultimate expert, the Magic 8-Ball, on each week. We try to have some fun with college football, and it's a great sport, and we love to get some broadcast experience out here for these college football experts. So it's always a pleasure talking to you. So this is our second week in a row, gentlemen, and I look forward to next week already. So you guys have a great week and watch some college football, and I look forward to talking to you.
Just well excited.
George.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.